Hello, Soul Spiralers. Welcome back to today's episode. Today, I have the amazing Teddi Emerald joining me. Teddi is a women's empowerment healer, questioning our paradigms daily, expanding and activating others to live an unapologetic life. She's the CEO of Byron an EFT tapping practitioner, runs her course Confidence for a Queen and a monthly moon circle to offer others to remember this self-empowerment, confidence and connection. So I'm very chuffed to have Teddi join me today. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. So happy to be here.
Yeah, so exciting. And I want to kick it off with a question. How do you nourish and expand your soul, Teddi?
Well, my most favorite places to be on earth are Burning Man and ceremony. So either one of those kind of elements. So, and I see such a likeness in both of them. Altered states, creativity, the ultimate expression of your authentic self, synchronicity, magic, outside the matrix. So yeah, either one of those, like either on a dance floor somewhere, or in deep ceremony, sacred reverence with myself, my higher self, my being, and consciousness. Basically, they're the things that expand and nourish my soul.
Yeah, I feel like those are such expansive spaces, both of those descriptions. I couldn't have put it better. Those are probably the spaces that would expand. Maybe the one that I would add for me would be like childbirth. I'm sure that's going to be an expansive
Oh
experience.
My God, yeah.
But otherwise,
Yes.
but it is a ceremony and probably almost like a doof at the same time, that expansive, galactic.
Well, it's the universe birthing another universe. So absolutely, it's such a phenomenal, magical rite passage.
Yeah, my friend said to me the other day, she's like, Kristin, just chill out, you're a walking portal.
Yeah, exactly. Just be chill. You're like, you're your most magical right now, uber sensitive. Like, just chill, it's all good.
Totally. I was like, thank you, I needed that reminder. So
good.
So obviously you definitely show up in my field as someone that's trying to break the mold in what we know and the way that we show up.
I'll just interject, not trying, I am.
Oh, you are?
I am breaking the mold, yeah.
You are breaking the mold and showing up in ways of questioning what we know and allowing self-expression to come out. And I feel that you do this in such a way that it has like this integrity and it has authenticity about it, which I feel like could be quite hard sometimes in, like, for example, the online world. What do you find is the way that you can really bring that day to day of that true integrity and authenticity in yourself and confidence to express who you truly are?
Wow, like that feels really nice to know that that's how I'm being received, and whatever I'm putting out there is being received, that it's like seen in that integrity and authenticity. That's awesome. Because, like I was saying before, we never know how, and the reflections are really beautiful to hear that back. It's not something that I've actually thought about consciously. Like, I'm not going, I want to show up as myself. Like, I'm not showing like I want to be in my integrity or I want to be in my authenticity. I think being weird and being sensitive, the amount of work that I've done around shame and hiding and being shy and being held back because of all the stories in my head, from how I was to how I am now, and still continually doing that. Like, I'm a sensitive being, and I know that I'm different, and there's always, edges in that, and meeting of more of normcore thoughts, people, society, you know what I mean? So I'm aware of that. I'm hyper aware of that. And in order for me to show up in how I am, like, there's a lot of claiming of myself, like, sword in the ground, stake in the ground, of like, even if I'm cringy, even if I suck, even if I'm shit, even if I fail, even if I'm not smart enough, I still deserve to be here, and I love and accept that part of me, and I'm going to just show up and do the thing and put it out there. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be what the vision I have in my head of it turning into. It's not going to be that. So can I just like love on myself and cheer myself on and be like, yeah, you did it. You're so cute. Like, go you. Like, the whole process of it. So yeah, that's more of my thing, is like, oh, I'm getting these ideas come through, and can I express them, and can I express them, like, you know, and get them out there quickly instead of sitting on them and then that self beat up cycle going on. So I think the transmission that is probably coming through is, yeah, it's just me actually like loving on myself and being like, fuck it, yeah, if you're, you know, like, if other people are going to judge you, all good, because you've loved and accepted that part that's getting judged. So perhaps that's where the integrity or the authenticity is like coming through, like just feeling the heart.
Yeah. I love that remembrance of the heart being the anchor in a sense of that being a navigational tool. And like you said, when different ideas or things come in, like not sitting on them and actually just like doing the thing or expressing the thing, I just love that expression, because that is so in integrity. Because often when we sit on things for like a period of time, perhaps things shift and then we like overthink what they are before we express it, and then does it become like this whole loaded kind of energy almost.
Totally.
So I really love that reminder of just putting it out there and letting it go, kind of.
Yeah absolutely.
And has your journey to feel easeful in that expression, I don't know if it always feels easeful for you, but obviously you said you don't really like think about that as an intention, so it's just kind of moving through you. Has it always been like that for you, or did you have to go through a whole journey?
Not at all. So much, I have done so much tapping around it, like just moving through a lot of embarrassment, shyness, fear of getting judged, and even overperforming as well, and like looking at the face of being like confident or cocky and being like, well, what if I just drop that facade, then what comes up? And there was a lot of sensitivity that came up in that. So sometimes it can be like an overextension, a bravado can be a mask for deep insecurity as well. Like a lot of like really loud, abrasive, or, you know, not abrasive, but like, yeah, super loud people still can be super insecure.
Totally.
And it's just an act. Like, you know, and their soul is kind of stepped back from that, and it's a performance. So yeah, I did a lot of tapping around that, to be honest, and like continually set myself little challenges to do, and put myself in some pretty like stretchy experiences, like in self-development programs and stuff like that.
Amazing. And so for people who don't know what tapping is.
Oh yeah, for sure. Emotional freedom technique is the big official word for it, but what it is tapping on literally parts of your face and your upper body. And what this does, it stimulates meridians, which are energy lines in the body. Basically what it's doing is you're tapping on a magic button on your body that releases emotional intensity. So if you're feeling really scared or fearful or shy or angry about a certain thing, and you're stimulating these points and you're tapping on it, and you're actually going into the shadow or the reasons why that stuff is there. So it feels really heavy when you go into it, because you're like, oh, I'm finally acknowledging all the stuff that feels really uncomfortable that I haven't wanted to. But whilst you're doing that, your body and your unconscious mind is actually processing those emotions. And in that processing, it starts to release the energy and release the emotions. And then when you actually hit the core root reason why that's a thing, and this is why it's really powerful to have guidance, like a practitioner guiding you that's been trained in, you know, psychology and blah blah blah, all that stuff. because then they can guide you to go into the deeper parts that's actually holding that emotion, holding that belief system, the trauma, whatever it is. And it's totally random. Like when I say trauma, it's like, it's not necessarily, you know, something crazy happening to you. It could be you fell over and your mum kept walking. And then all of a sudden that lodges as a trauma. I'm abandoned. No one cares about me. Blah, blah, blah. And then you go on to attract that for the rest of your life until you go and deal with that core memory. So yeah, I just want to reference like trauma isn't like a big thing. It can be such a subtle thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you release that, tapping on these meridians, and I do a whole range of other modalities. So I've like kind of created my own unique blend.
Yeah.
But once that's done, the mindset changes, the way that you think about yourself and the situation changes. And that's how I've found so much room opening up for myself. And that's ultimately what changed my life. When I first received tapping, when I was going and working with a practitioner and did a personal healing program, that's the ultimate thing that fully changed my life. And I didn't have to do any positive thinking, any goal setting, any self-reflection, like nothing. It was like I would literally rock up to my session once a week, and then within like a month my life actually changed. But then I kept going with it, and then my whole life just really changed. Like went on to take on my own business, met like a divine partner, started doing the creative things that I wanted, like just everything started getting magnetized to me. And it was so quick. And the practitioner wasn't being like, okay, so go and do this and go and read your affirmations and go and listen to like law of attraction. Like none of it. It just happened because I was actually doing the work that changed everything on that core level. So that's what I do now.
Oh, I love that. That's so amazing, and such an amazing revelation of that experience. It sounds like it's such like a freeing thing to experience. Like we are constricted in so many ways by our past and our subconscious, and it sounds like a real aspect of breaking free of those limitations. I needed some EFT tapping on Tuesday when I was having about 6 meltdowns. I think I'm just pregnancy hormones like, woo, and my partner's like, when are you gonna have some like rest time? Because I can't deal with the crazy.
It's the best. Like even after all the other modalities that I've, you know, gone and done, tapping is just like my fave, because it's a body thing. And it works, like, especially in those moments, like when you're like, it's like, I don't want to be positive thinking right now. My body is like going crazy. Like my hormones are crazy, my chemicals, my stress response, like actually, because I'm doing trash shop at the moment. Like I said to you before, we were up on this scaffolding really high, and me and one of the other girls were up there, and we're both like, oh, we're actually freaking out. Like my hands are sweaty. Like I'm like, my hands are sweaty, my neck. What's that? Like Eminem thing. And I was like, oh, let's just do some tapping. So we're like doing tapping like up there to just calm the body down.
So amazing.
And then it felt fine. And we're like up there like all confident, happy. I'm like, oh, see, this stuff's so good.
Yeah, and simple tools like that you can just use anywhere. Like you could be driving a car or getting on stage to like public speak. I think that's the last time I was like shaky and like I read a poem at a slam poetry event that I'd written, and I was like shaking afterwards. And usually I'm pretty good with public speaking, so I was like shocked at my own body response, but I think it was because it was such like stuff from my heart. I had this poem about like Mary Magdalene energy, which probably half the people wouldn't have even understood.
But it's raw and real, and it's you, and that's that vulnerability piece of like, I'm really opening up, and if I got attacked in this, it does hurt, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That tender blossom opening.
But the vulnerability is often what people love so much, isn't it? That's when you really get people like, I love this person, I want to come and see you or be your friend or work with you or whatever it is. It's just from that vulnerability space a lot of the time. Yeah. Because nobody wants someone that pretends they know it all, really. Because nobody knows it. We don't know anything, honestly.
I think that's one of my favorite quotes from like when I was 18 or something. Like, wiser is she that knows that she doesn't know.
Totally. Yeah, that true wisdom comes from realizing you don't know anything at all.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at that point. Definitely, I'm like, I don't know anything really with what's happening in my world. I just go with it.
Yeah, and like when you've done the work so that your flow is in a way that's in alignment with your soul and your purpose, it's like then you can trust that. But I think to say that, like, just kind of going with the flow, I'm thinking about how I was when I was younger and going along with pack mentality of my friends. And I was in their flow and I was in society's flow. And I was also a victim to my own programming, you know, and I wasn't going for things and I was withheld. So it's like, once the work's done and we've set ourselves free and we can actually feel, you know, the vibration of, oh, this is me when I'm really in my power, and this is me when I'm really feeling something. It's like, then that's the real flow. That's an organic timeline flow rather than being swept up and on the other current, you know?
Totally. Yeah. And it's been so interesting being through this like pregnancy journey and different parts of it, because I mean, those who listen know that I'm quite alternative with the way that I go about things, and I'm not doing anything medical with my experience. And the opinions that people have as soon as they find out you're pregnant, or as soon as they see, because now I'm starting to like be noticeably pregnant, is just, I'm just keeps calling in like the spaciousness to be like, okay, there's space between me and them, and I'm just going to show up as me, and this is my body, no one else's, so therefore it's my choice, you know. But I still have moments that I forget that, and I'm like, oh, what the it's constant. It's a constant push pull, isn't it?
Yeah. And your strength in like womanhood and motherhood is just going to be like your container, like you know, where those little leaks happen, you'll be like tidying that up and strengthening, like, nope, get out, I don't need that opinion, I don't need that put on me. Like, I know I'm just triggering your programming, and that's why you want to spit it out to me, because that's what you've told yourself, and that's why you're a good girl listening to your unconscious. But where did that even come from anyway?
Totally.
So yeah,
there's so much of that happening. Even on social media, I feel like there's this real aspect of like, this is right and this is wrong from like people's opinions, points of view, and it's just opinions at the end of the day. Like, whether it's like our societal conditioning, or whether it's like we go down the conspiracy theory pathway, or whatever we want to believe, like at the end of the day, everything's just opinions. Like it's like, what's your truth? Live that.
Yeah. And I think it's really wise to be flexible in it as well. Like, from my life experience, it's when I think I know and I get, you know, real staunch and arrogant in it, it's like it just turns on its head, and it's like, bang, it's actually the opposite, bitch. Like, humble yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm just like, like really flexible. And just watching when I think I know something, I'm like, oh, you're going to get humbled. Like, just chill.
And I guess like having like such staunch opinions on things isn't really that free at the end of the day, is it? It's like the flexibility is where the freedom is.
Yeah. And if we really want to get into the meta view of it, it's like, it's all one, it's all whole, it's all meant to be here. So as much as there's squabbling and making black and white and polarization, we're still kind of being in that frame of mind where if we can appreciate that what the polarity creates is creation of something new, and if we can integrate that within ourselves, then we have so much more width and breadth of who we can be in conversation with, what we create in the world, you know, and like move society and the evolution of consciousness forward.
I love that perspective. It's really it's almost like it brings excitement to be like, oh, what am I going to get challenged with today? Because that means that there's things shifting.
I know, as uncomfy as it feels, like the ego's like, no.
Just
all the time. Don't you worry. Like, oh my God.
Comes up, we tap, and then we move through it.
Yeah.
I love it. And the other thing that I know that you've been really alive for you at the moment, and I've even seen you sharing in your spaces about this body confidence piece, because wow, what a journey we've all been on with being maybe stuck under patriarchal terms, not to be staunch, but you know, that's been the experience, and there's been a real shift of coming out of that into what are you confident in your own bodies and confident in your expression and what true beauty really is. What do you feel is the thing that you see the most that is shifting, or that it needs to keep shifting in that space of the body confidence?
Yeah, beautiful. It's so well put, like so many things tied into that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Can feel your own journey, your own awareness around that. Like that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a constant experience.
Yeah, especially like pregnancy.
Yeah. It's yeah, I actually feel quite like really happy in my body, and like I'm like, oh, this is cool. But there's still things like I did ballet for like 18 years. So I definitely had some body dysmorphia experiences. And I've more veered on the side of like orthorexic sort of tendencies in terms of like health. And I've seen that play out in my parents. And so it's like really trying to break that paradigm so that I'm not feeding that same sort of language through to my children.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not feeding that same language, that same programming through. So good. Yeah. And it's already done. Like you're so aware of it. And that love for yourself and then the love for your child will make that commitment even stronger.
Totally.
Freedom.
Yeah.
And like freedom.
Constantly checking yourself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think my thing with it is anything that makes us feel ashamed or embarrassed about ourselves, I'm very fierce against. Like I'm like really tenacious and protective of myself, my own being, because I'm like very gentle and have also moved through so much shame, like just layers and layers and layers. Like I think that's the ultimate gift that I've come in with, like for some reason, like past lives and the genetics that have come in with this line, my mum and my dad, and then my own life experience is just like a lot of like unwanted shame, I'm not good enough, that kind of thing. So seeing how that belief system and that energy then will just find things to blame for it, like, oh, it's my body, I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not toned enough, or I don't have bigger boobs, or I don't have a perky bum, or my teeth aren't as white, or my hair's not as straight, or my skin's not, like whatever, my pores are too big, like anything and everything. It's like that belief system of I'm not good enough, and that feeling of there's something wrong with me, that's why I'm not loved, that's why I'm not chosen, that's why I'm not wanted, that's why I'm rejected constantly. It will, the first thing that I've seen it attached to is body image and how I look. So it's a thing that I've moved through and will continue to move through, like constantly claiming aspects of myself, like, and giving myself permission to be that. And why I say constantly is because we're constantly evolving as women, like stepping into motherhood, it's the body's changing again. Or like going through stress, the body's going to fluctuate. Hormones, whatever age we're in, whatever season we're in, our body's changing. So if I'm or ladies or women or beings or everyone is only feeling good when they're a certain look, like they're fit and toned, or they're healthy, or they're young, it's like you think you're good now, but once it changes, that's when all the shit's going to come up. So why don't you just deal with it now and set yourself free now, and just give yourself permission to be all of it and still love and accept yourself. And then the relaxation and the freedom and the peace that comes from that is phenomenal. And what I've seen shift is women's bodies naturally shift. Like it's like they kind of rebalance when they're not stressed and like self-flagellating, like whipping themselves to go and work out, or to starve themselves to diet, or they're overeating because of stress. What I've seen from women doing my body confidence programs is their bodies actually realign, and they go to their like almost like their natural shape. It's like the stress that either puts their body underweight or overweight starts to rebalance, and they're like, oh, I feel amazing, but my body's shifted. But the funny thing is I don't even care about that anymore, because I chose to love and accept myself when I didn't think I was good enough. So now that I am feeling like really sexy and I'm feeling great, I'm like, woo, it's awesome, but it was never the end goal.
Yeah.
So it's like this funny catch-22, because like back then that's what they would have wanted, and now they don't give a shit, and they're like, I'm just having fun and I feel really radiant and alive and vibrant and energized.
So beautiful. It is such that it's not ironic, but it's
it is
ironic. And isn't it ironic? We're on the musics today.
I know. What was that, Alana Morissette?
Yeah, Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that at Trash Day. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I feel that you working in, you know, even in a fashion store and like in that type of industry, it must have been a real journey, or like teetering from obviously your own experience, but then even witnessing so many people probably come in and have this trigger around body confidence, because it's so fed to us in our like society and in media. Like we need to get off media from that perspective a lot of the time. It really feeds the internal monster that we create in ourselves. But I love that you said this like fierceness to like overcome the shame, and fierceness to just like fight for like your beautiful little sensitive soul and self that's in there. Yeah, that really, I love the energy of that. It makes me think, yeah, I want to be fierce in my like expression of chasing those things, you know, that loving them.
Yeah, how I see it is like a protective lioness, you know, like you can laze around in the sun all day, you chill, but then as soon as someone's coming close to something, your pack or your pride, out there and just like protecting, defending, taking down anything. And I see that with like anything that's coming into my space, whether it's something that I've seen on social media, like someone pop up, and if I feel that glitch in myself, I'm like, nah, get out of my space. Like I don't need that. Like I don't want that. And then I'll also pay attention to what triggered that, and then tap, like move, like look at what was in that for me and move that through as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're very strong in your like non-negotiable boundaries in those. I feel like that we have like these strong things that need to be really strong boundaries, and then there's other things that like can be flexible boundaries, but this sounds like a really strong boundaries type thing to be navigating.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because it's quite insidious how it comes in, like how you're saying, like it can come in master's health, or like, you know, and it's like, oh, I'm doing it for this reason. And then like, there's this undercurrent of like, oh yeah, but if I do that, then I'll be, you know, thinner. And it's like, nah, that's got to go. Totally. So yeah, just really onto it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You wouldn't know, but I've gone through 2 long water fasting experiences over the last 2 years or so. And I didn't really have, like, I wasn't experiencing this body image stuff or orthorexic kind of experiences until I went through that. Like it healed a lot of things for me, and it was really amazing, and it really shifted a lot of stuff from like an emotional point of view as well. But there was this like little thing in the background where my body had gone through like being this size to like a very small size in a short period of time, and then obviously putting that weight back on over a period of time, and then doing it again. And then after the second one, like it was amazing what I was experiencing on a physical and emotional sense to a degree. But I went through this real deep integration of this far out. I've still got some of this orthorexic body dysmorphia stuff from my teenage years that I've obviously like pushed under in a way, or I hadn't fully dealt with, because obviously it came up again in a big way. And it was such a big journey. And then as you're like working through it, because naturally you're putting more weight back on post fasting, it's just like this whole, it was crazy for my mind to navigate. And I got to a place with it, and it's, you know, and then I pretty much got pregnant straight away after that anyways. It's like, okay, my body's just going to keep choosing to change. Like I don't have any control of this. But yeah, it was a very interesting thing to notice. Like, it was this really deep thing that I had thought I'd dealt with from years ago, because it was like 18 was probably the last time I'd fully experienced that, which is probably around the age I stopped doing ballet as well, funnily enough. But
amazing.
I was, you know, I changed a lot in my health that then as a result, my body was like feeling really good. So therefore I felt really good, but I'd never really dealt with the deep-seated like issue that I still had this like under the surface. It was very interesting to, and intense to
fully
navigate.
Yeah.
And then I'm just a crazy person doing extreme water fasting. But
how long did you water fast for?
So the first time I did it at a center in Costa Rica, I did 30 days. And the second time, which was this time last year, I just finished, was 21 days at home with my partner, which was like, that was our baby prep one. And the one previous was healing some health things we had going on. And also it changed like I just had all of this like limiting belief stuff just come up to be cleared, because you have so much space to not be focusing on anything else. So it's like, okay, well, it's here, let's work through it. And big paradigm shifts. But
that's amazing.
Super
amazing.
Epic.
Super epic. Yeah, fasting's so powerful.
Yeah,
I haven't done a water fast yet, and I'm so excited to.
Yeah, it's definitely a massive experience. And it's, if you like anyone listening that wants to do that, if they have any part of them that has like a bit of body dysmorphia or have had the orthorexic tendencies in the past, make sure you have like deep support through the experience if you are going to choose that, or maybe it's not the time kind of thing, because even though it's helping you on a cellular physical level, there might be other things that you need to do, just like you prep for anything like massive, you know, you want to do the preparation before. And perhaps I didn't do enough
support after it, because it's when the weight comes back on.
Yeah,
totally. Because I do a lot of juice fasting and broths and that kind of thing. And that's what I noticed as well. I was like, there you are, a little sneaky thing that comes up. It's like, all right, bitch, let's get it.
Yeah, that's great.
So good. And it feels so good. Like now where like I find myself effortlessly saying like, oh yeah, like, you know, when I've got like more squishiness on my body, and I'm a slight person, but I'm really proud of when I get softer. I'm like, I created this. I've created this with all the good food that I've been eating, all the supplements. I've been really nourishing up this last month as well. Like my kidney adrenals got a bit shot with everything that's been happening in Byron Shire. And I was like, okay, deep time for replenishment, because I was like having 2 coffees a day and still exhausted, and I was like, no, that's not good. So did a bit of muscle testing, and it was like, your kidneys and your adrenals are fucked. And you're like, if you are having that coffee a day and relying on that for energy, you're going to actually start hooking into your storehouse of Jing, which is your life force energy, and draining that. So it's not about just keep going. It's like, no, stop that and change everything. So got on all the herbs, changed my lifestyle, just ultimate sloth nourishment mode. Felt so good, like having broths and stuff. But I'm like putting on weight again, which was really good. And I'm like, oh, yay. Like I made this myself. Like I love myself. And like just rocking around in like having like, it's not even a lot. Like people would be like, babe, like you're so thin, but it's like our own mind and what it can create, the stories that it can create about ourselves. But like I'll be rocking around in low waist jeans and like a little high like midriff like t-shirt, and like having my little sweet rolls out, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm not sucking in either. I'm like, this is my body, like great. Like I'm like, I get to have my belly out as well. Like it's not just like super lean, you know, like that's the only time I can show my body off. It's like in all of it. And someone could really look at me and be like, what are you talking about? However, this is the thing that I really want to frame, that it's always personal. And so we're moving through our own personal limitations and ideas of perfection. So, and this is after working with a lot of influencers and models and things like that. You know, they're the ones that are on the pedestal often for society, as and other women are looking to them and they're like, I want to be like that. When I'm like that, then I'll feel really sexy, really confident, I'll feel really empowered in myself, like, you know, I'll be attracting a partner, blah blah blah. However, then being in their space and working with people like this, they've got the same shit going on, and they're like, I'm not good enough, I need to tone up, I need to lose this gram of fat, I need to get this injection, I need to get this implant, like blah blah blah, then I'll be hot, then I'll like feel confident, then I'll like attract someone that really sees me and loves me for who I am. And it's just so distorted. So I really want to bring that in, because I feel like this could be a thing in the body positivity movement. And this is what I love, like seeing all bodies. And I'm seeing like a lot of super curvy, like owning their cellulite, owning their stretch marks, owning their body hair, owning their, like, you know, like mustaches or whatever, you know, women that have mustaches and stuff like that. And I fucking love it. Like, I'm such a stand for it. And I get off on it and I celebrate it. And I'm just like a hardcore yes, because those people have definitely been shamed by society and have felt that shame. And for them to claim themselves is phenomenal and radical. And I just adore it. And there's this in-between thing of like group of people where it's like, well, I'm not really fat and I'm not really skinny, and they're beating themselves up just as much. It's, you know, they're like, oh, if I was just skinnier, if I was just fitter, if I just changed this, then I could be one of those like extraordinary, those, you know, like more up on the pedestal kind of thing. And it's like, and it's almost like those people can get shamed for saying that they've got body dysmorphia, because it's like, what, you're not fat, like you don't have a right to complain, like you don't have a right to feel bad, like look at me, like I've had it hard. So I found like it's you, do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it's but it's still going on in the head, and it's still impacting the way that people show up. So yeah, that's, I just wanted to kind of bring that in, because it's a current that I've been feeling, and I was like, oh, this isn't really getting addressed. And someone said to me the other day, a fitness coach, health coach, we were having a conversation, and she was like, I actually really like seeing your stuff because I relate to it more. Like I love the plus size, but I don't relate to it because I'm not that.
Yeah.
But seeing just kind of like a normal, you know, normal or medium version of someone claiming themselves is actually really nice. Like it's really good for me. And I was like, oh, interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
It makes complete sense. And I really feel that those people that maybe sit more in that plus size space, they haven't felt represented for so long. So there's like this real fight for that. But there's also the real fight is that just it should be equal in representation across the board, not just for this size or that size. It's not either or. It's just we just are, you know.
Exactly. And I'm so like a big fierce yes to the people that are swinging out in those polarities and that are carving out and claiming that space. Like yes. And then and then it comes into balance. You know, with all the other people. We
got to let the pendulum go one way to find its way back to might go back the other way first, and then hopefully finds the middle at some point.
Exactly.
Hopefully in our generation anyway.
Oh, absolutely it will. Like social media is just moving everything so fast. Like absolutely it will have happen in our generation. And I think a lot of us have Scorpio and Pluto, so that's like bringing up all the taboo stuff and alchemizing it, and then like all the generations after us, like they've got so much more space to move it forward in even more leaps and bounds. So
totally, that Scorpio Pluto generation I find it hilarious when you think about it in that way, because it's such like I'm going to tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. Which is so like the current like social media generation, isn't it?
I know,
It's like, all right,
so
okay.
good.
Don't know if I was ready for that, but yeah, maybe I needed to be triggered.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I feel that yeah, I really love this conversation on the body positivity and the energy behind that, because yeah, it's just, if I think about my like childhood and my upbringing and like what we were seeing like in the media, we're so fortunate. Like in some ways social media really gets bad rap at this point in time, but in other ways this social media tool is so powerful, like you said, because we have accessibility to so many different perspectives and so many different viewpoints that actually it makes us feel less shame about the things that we're experiencing in life. And so isn't that really actually a beautiful thing?
Exactly. Yeah. And especially if you're like a bit of an outsider, or like you're not really fitting in with the like what is currently around you, whether that's family or the town that you live in, to be able to see that there's other people like you that exist, and they're like, you know, whether it's how they dress, what they think about, how they live, what they're into, you know, what their hobbies are, like, or, you know, music, anything. It's like, oh, great, I've got like, you know, a connection to a community and a group that I feel part of, which is so important.
So important to allow us to expand and evolve. I remember like finishing school and people would be like, oh, I'm going to go do this at uni and I'm going to go do this at uni. And it felt like there was only like 5 options. And I was like, I don't want to do any of that. So I didn't go to uni. But now like I feel that there would be so much more accessibility to like all these cool different careers and experiences to like learn about. It's like, wow, actually that would have been so cool if I knew about half of those things when I finished school. Like I was watching a mushroom documentary the other night, and how this guy, he's like a, what do they call him? Is it a myceliumist or something like that? Like,
yeah, was
like
that Fantastic Fungi?
Yeah, I was watching that. It's such a good doco.
So good.
I kind of fell asleep towards the end, but it was late. But yeah, it's I wouldn't have known that that's like a career that you could go and just be a mushroom person.
They've created that career though. Like
totally.
that didn't exist. And I was just thinking when you were saying, I was like, yeah, you choosing not to go to uni was you following your current, and look what you're doing now and look who you are, and it's only going to grow and evolve into more. And it's like, by following something that has energy and passion, excitement, curiosity, interest for you, you actually self-create these things. And then because our generation has done that, and like we've got social media now, there's all these random as things that people can go and get qualified and learn, but they were created by people that were just passionate about something.
So true.
You know, like the forerunners. So the myceliumist or whatever his tag is, he was just some guy that was obsessed with mushrooms, you know, like, and now like, you know, Paul Stamets and all that crew and Terence McKenna have like really created like a niche. And I feel like the mushroom world we're only just starting that is going off. Like, you know, I've got a couple of friends that have mushroom businesses like Life Cycle and Super Feast, and there's just so much room in that industry, like mushrooms that eat garbage, mushrooms that clean up radiation, mushrooms that heal bodies, like mushrooms that like, they're just going to save the world, like hemp. And it's just like, we're just starting out with these products. And I'm so excited for all the passionate, creative, earth-loving, cosmic beings that feel in alignment to work with these plants and these things. And it's just like that for any career. If you're feeling something, like energy for something, go get it. Like, don't wait for the education around it. Create it yourself, trial and error. Like, and you'll attract the mentors and the courses or the whatever that will support you in your journey anyway.
So true. It's you can create a career really out of anything at this point in time if you're passionate enough about it.
Yeah.
Follow the passions. I mean, how lucky are we, honestly?
Oh, so lucky. What a time to be alive. Like, oh my
know.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my mum's just like, what? You mean you could do that and do that? Like, there's just so much more constriction that she experienced in what her options were than what we have now. It's wild. I have some fun questions to ask you, Teddy.
Oh, I like fun. Let's go.
Yes. What is your sun, moon, and rising signs?
Leo.
Yeah, the lioness right there.
Wow. Yeah, all Leo, triple Leo, baby.
Are you triple Leo? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
I'm like,
special.
I think I'm like 6 planets in fire. So
Wow.
just, yeah, I think if you just want to think of me, it's just fire. Yeah.
Are you fire in Chinese medicine? Do you do much with Chinese medicine?
Yeah.
Oh, you are as well. I'm fire in
A
Chinese
fire
medicine.
dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm fire in Chinese medicine too.
Yay!
Except I'm very airy and earthy otherwise in my astrology.
Oh, nice. Okay,
I'm Aquarius with a Capricorn moon and Virgo rising. So
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fun combo. I have a lot of Capricorns around me, actually. It's fun. It's an interesting energy. It's an energy I used to hate and now I really love.
I feel like that's such a beautiful blend with Aquarius. Like you're like, you know, pulling in those future ideas, seeing the bigger picture and having that earthy, especially the Cap, to get it done, and the Virgo to be precise. But what an asset. Like,
thanks.
Yeah, you obviously
picked it myself.
Move things. Yeah, you did. Move things forward in a really good way. Like, it's beautiful. What's
your human design?
Projector.
Ah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
Projectors unite.
Yeah, I know, it's so like that.
So they're just speckled around. I hear so many manifesting generators usually.
Oh, I know. And they just get it done. And I'm like, man, I don't get like a lot of my time is just slothing around, thinking, like enjoying myself until I'm in go mode. Yeah,
that's me too. And my part, it took a long time for Alex, my partner, he's a manifesting generator, to understand that was just it's a different process than like going and smashing it all out. I just need a lot more rest than him. That's why he's been yelling at me to take more rest during pregnancy.
Sit your projector ass down. Like,
project. What's your favorite fruit?
Oh, this is so fun. I'm seeing like a lot of orange things flashing up in my mind, but I'm also thinking from a beauty aesthetic. I really love the hot pink dragon fruits because they look like they're from another planet.
So cool. And really high in iron and vitamin C. So like you're getting the best of both worlds.
Fruit is just the best. Like I'm like such a fruit like fangirl. Like I'm always passionately defending fruit to people because they're like, oh, the fruit sugars. And I'm like, oh my God, it's such a lie. Like fruit is the highest vibrational food. Like it's not bad for you. Like you can eat squillions of it. Like get over it. Like the sugars disappear before they even hit your gut. Like
totally. Yeah, I'm a fruit freak. I was raw vegan for like a year and a half and just ate fruit and salad for the whole time. And I actually felt the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Like I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
But it's winter, so let's be seasonal.
Totally. Were you living in like Bali or something at the time?
No, I was living in Sunshine Coast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where I am now. So it was only after my last water fast that I introduced cooked food again, actually. It was between the two fasts. I was really hardcore, you know?
Yeah. And you got to follow that intuition.
Totally. Everything's different seasons. If you could return to a moment in your life and re-experience it again, what moment would you return to witness?
Okay, there's 3. All right. I would like to go back to before I came into this body. And, you know, be with like my soul crew and like have a remembrance of the discussion. And like, I know the feeling, but I just want to be like, I want to have full clear remembrance of who's there, what's the plan, where are we? Like, I just think that that's like really fun and cute. And like galactic and magical and all that stuff. And I think, actually one's coming through. The last Burning Man that I went to, and I had a really great group of people around me, and just like riding out onto the playa, and we were all like, whoop, whoop, and it felt like kind of like Peter Pan, like, and all the Lost Boys, like, but the one where it's like Rufio's in it, and they're like, Rufio. It felt like that. Like everyone was just so excited, and like everyone was in a childlike state, like staring at wonder at all these art cars that are going past, and like the speakers are blasting, and we're all dressed up, and it's the first night on the playa, and there's so many first timers there, and they've never been there, and they just like, all their senses are overstimulated. They're just like, what is going on? Wow. Like, this is amazing. And just such a fun crew of people as well. So I would say I would love to redo that, because it was so playful and fun.
I love that. So I can picture it in your description. So playful. Would you choose the forest or the ocean?
The forest.
Yeah. I picked the fairy card before I got on the call with you. I was like, yeah, Teddi's a forest fairy, isn't she?
I am. All the fairy energy. Yeah.
Totally. What plant or flower are you working with the most at the moment? If any?
Yeah, so I've got a beautiful blend, a solar blend from, who are they? They're really nice. Adrian, he does these mists. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name of that business, and I don't have them right now. But it's like heart, I think it's heart mists, and they spell it with the MYST.
Yeah.
But he's like a plant himself, like full fairy as well, like big swirly curls, and he goes out and makes these like under the full moon and like around the eclipse time, and he's like getting all the crystals and the flowers and extracting. But he also works with medicine plants as well, like peyote, cactus, aya. So his blend that I have, I've got the spray, which is a spritz, and it's all golden flowers. Wow. So it's like sunflower, like I think some poppy, then it's got, because it's all about the sun, there's the solar plexus, our willpower, our confidence, our activation, our get shit done. And then it's got peyote in it as well, like little cactus, because that is sun medicine as well. But yeah, and gold and all these other little yellow flowers that I can see in my head, but I can't remember the names of, like buttercups or something like that. But everything's yellow and gold. And so I have the spray, which smells phenomenal. And then I have the little tincture as well that I take.
Amazing.
I love it. And yeah, all the women that do work with me, I give them a little gift set of both of these, because it's the vibrational medicine as well, you know.
Totally, the confidence medicine. Yeah, I need to look them up. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm just going to double check. I'm going to open my Insta and just check, because his stuff is so good.
Heart mist is what I wrote down.
Pure Heart Alchemy. There we go.
I have heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, lucky I said that. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah, so that's amazing stuff. What are you working with at the moment?
I am, funnily enough, lavender's been really strong for me through this pregnancy, and I've always liked lavender, but I've been like obsessed with lavender. Like obsessed. Like I'm like, okay, this is more than normal. It like drops me in my body like immediately. I don't know, it really like brings me in. And then today I've been enjoying nettle a lot. And I feel like it's such a wintry kind of herb as well. It likes to be planted in winter, I was reading yesterday. And
cool.
Yeah, it's just got so many beautiful emotional healing benefits as well. You know, just really like being with I need more water usually in my life, because I have a lot of the other elements, but water is what I've had the biggest initiations with, and it's usually the things I need to like bring me back in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite crystal?
Opal. and labradorite.
Beautiful. There's all those rainbow flecks.
Yes, so beautiful.
And I was going to ask you if you're an animal, what would you be? But I feel like I've already got the answer to that earlier.
Yeah, I'd be a lion with wings.
A lion with wings. Oh my gosh. Is that like from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Did that lion have wings?
Aslan.
Aslan, yes.
Yeah, totally. I love it.
And is there any last words or summations you want to leave the listeners with before we tell them how they could get in touch with you?
I'm just really feeling my heart. So I feel like the thing is to just like drop in and breathe into the heart, and to know that you can do it, and to claim that for yourself, like whatever the dream is of who you're stepping into, or the thing that you're going to bring into existence, is just knowing that you can do it, and feeling that strength and that love for yourself, and just breathing into that in your heart and claiming that.
Perfect words to finish with. I love heart medicine. That's just my jam. Yeah. And if anyone wants to work with you, maybe do one of your courses or just connect in, what's the best way for them to do that?
Easiest way is Instagram. That's where I'm most active. So TEDDI.emerald, EMERALD, like the gemstone. And yeah,
my engagement ring's an emerald because I'm obsessed with emeralds.
So special.
I know.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, my partner kind of loves the green as well. It's a heart energy.
Oh, it is.
It's for love, so it should be heart energy, is how I say it.
And apparently with emeralds it's best to get given them to receive them. So,
I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone can buy me emeralds from now on.
I know. Open receiving all the emeralds.
We're down. Nice and expensive. Because we're worth it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for the chat, Teddi. It's been really fun, and I'll put all of your contact in the notes as well, so it's easy for people to find you.
Amazing. Thanks so much.